I can't believe it. I can't believe E3 died. Oh my God. Oh man, right about now I'd be sitting with my hands in my pants waiting for news to come from Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo about their new games. Oh, now I gotta just play the games I own. I don't want to play these. I want to hear about new stuff. I miss E3. I miss waiting for things and watching reels of games that would not come out and look like the games, like Cyberpunk. Oh, I miss watching that trailer for Cyberpunk, and I miss the game coming out and it being so bad that I buy the game for $10 in December of 2021 and I've yet to even open it. Oh, I don't want to play games. I want to watch things and be surprised and then also be disappointed later. I miss E3. It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White. Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the E3, more like no 3 news that you didn't know about. Had to write that down, had to look down at the script and go, that's what I wrote down, and then I had to say it out loud. Yes, E3 is gone. For now, it'll be back. Who knows when? Maybe we'll find out by the end of this episode. But E3 will live on spiritually for the last 2 years, in what we're calling this Summer Games Fest. E3 was canceled and it was replaced with other events. It was actually canceled, I think, earlier in March. And the digital and the physical events. So during the pandemic, it did take place digitally, but even before then, it was a dying breed, and you really like there was nothing really good coming out of it, and it was tough to put on, and I don't think it really did anything good enough for the past couple of years. I miss the days of G4 when it was on TV, prior to this new iteration of G4, where that was the only place you could get E3 news. And then to watch the press conferences, you had to watch Spike TV. Like that was truly a time before like the internet was what it is today. And that was just maybe 10 or so years ago. And I mean, even that, it was probably a couple of years ago. But now we get our games like this on digital storefronts, and we get the news of what's hot and what's not when it comes to the games. Okay, so IGN's Summer Game Fest return. I don't know, and I've never gotten confirmation on this. I do think IGN did help throw it. We did get the confirmation that Summer Game Fest, Summer of Gaming, was going to continue in June, which is now, I think the same day that E3 said that it is not happening. I think they were both posted the same day. So Summer of Gaming, this is the 3rd year. It's got trailers, it's got gameplay, it's got news, reveals, and I think it was very good for what it is. I think, when you have an outlet like IGN, which is the oldest video gaming news outlet, and if there's something older and just as big, then I'm missing it and I forgive myself. But the Summer of Gaming, this is a multi-day event, a lot like E3, and it's digital, but there still are press conferences. At least this year there were. I don't remember if there weren't any last year, but the first year it was very odd because it was 2020 and they were doing it online, and it was kind of not very good. And then the second year, it became more official. Now in its 3rd year, it's probably better than anything E3 has done in the past, again, decade. Summer Game Fest is a thing where you get to see all of the latest things coming. This year, we saw reveals for Sonic Frontiers, the first open world, or whatever. What are they calling it? Open. They're not calling it open world, but it's an open world Sonic adventure, open zone or something like open segment Sonic game where you run around and you do Sonic things. It's 3D. It looks pretty cool. Looks like something I'd play a couple of times. Oh God, at least a couple of times. And then we saw the reveals for The Last of Us Part One getting remade for the PS5 with the PC release date. We have Xbox Game Pass is announced for TVs, so you can play it on your Samsung TV, and then eventually LG TV, hopefully, and then maybe a Sony TV. We'll see what happens. Probably. Who cares? It's a smart TV. The thing is, just like E3, Summer Game Fest is going to have things that you don't like. And Jeff Keighley, who is the host of Summer Game Fest, the guy who created it, the guy who said he's a big video game person. He's a big video game personality. He's the one who hosted E3's years ago on Spike TV and on Game Trailers, and he's a guy we should listen to. He's not the be all end all, of course, though. But he's very personable, very smart guy. Watch me say this and he gets canceled in the next couple of months. Jesus, that's what usually happens to me. But he said to lower those expectations. You're not gonna get reveals like the next iteration of the PS5 or the next iteration of the Xbox Series X. You're not gonna know about Nintendo's next Switch. You're not gonna see Dark Souls 4 be announced. It's just how these things work. And again, Summer Game Fest is in its third year. We're still in the throes of a pandemic. People still can't get these consoles. Games are harder to make, even though you can do it at home. They're not having the resources they need. So they had to lower their expectations. And I think if you went into this year's Summer Game Fest knowing that you weren't going to see PS5 Slim or Xbox Series X2, then you were going to be fine. So we've got, Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered has been updated. Great. So E3, like I said, might be coming back, and they did announce that in the next year it will be coming back, and that is in person as well as online. So it's going to be at the LA Convention Center, and or maybe who knows? We'll see what happens. But Stan Pierre-Louis, the CEO of E3 organizers, said that they're excited to be back 2023. And they love the digital events, but they want to be able to connect in person, which I don't know if that's a good idea or not. But it's the thought that counts. I like E3. Again, I'm not against it, and I grew up with it, but it's had diminishing returns over the past couple of years, past decades, past couple of decades. Let's be real. But there is a place for it. Even just like there's a place for G4. Again, I say this now, watch it get canceled. But there's a place for video game coverage on television. There's a place for sports and streaming. There's a place for cats in a dog's world. Everything should get a chance, and that's why I would love to see it continue. Here is the kicker, though. Summer Game Fest is going to return in 2023 with an in-person event. There's also going to be digital as well. We don't know if it's going to be the same thing as it is this year. We don't know if it's going to be at the same time, because usually not G4, E3, G4, E3, E3, G4, excuse me, G6 as well. KN95. Okay, there we go. Oh, it's all the number things I know, letters and numbers. We don't know if E3 is going to return, because usually it's the early June, like June 6th-ish, is June 10th now. So it's usually takes place now, and that's why Summer Game Fest really took that prime spot. So we don't know if they're going to be the same time. We don't know if developers are going to have to split their loads. Phrasing. We don't know if what's exactly going to happen, but I would think that if E3 is not the Golden Globes, then that they would atone for their mess and try to appeal to everybody and say, all right, well, if Summer Game Fest is going to be the digital thing, then E3 can be and by digital I mean like just the gaming and not the hardware thing. Then E3 can be the in-person one where people get to dress up, hang out. It's the name recognition, invite personalities. But then again, that was its downfall, was the bringing personalities on, bringing someone like Joel McHale to host, I think, the Xbox press conference. I think Aisha Tyler was great because she's very fun and she knows about games and she didn't pretend like Joel McHale. Maybe I just don't like Joel McHale. But E3 and Summer Game Fest, there's a place for them, and as well as as long as they don't take them seriously, then it's fine. Now we do have the Xbox and Bethesda showcase coming up Sunday, June 12th, and that is essentially its E3 press conference. So, who knows if I hope these video game things can be taken as seriously as the Oscars and the rest of this world stuff. Listen, why don't you subscribe? Take it seriously and check out one of our videos. Of course, you can head to the website cpluscomedy.com where there's not a lot of gaming stuff, but I promise you there's some other stuff. Interviews with your favorite comedians. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast. And I'm going to hop back into this game. So I have to install it before I play it? What the hell is that?